Good evening, guys. Welcome to Cambridge Veritas. My name is Krish. I'm your friend. And today we have a wonderful session. What is this session about? This session is all related to common IELTS mistake that are actually pertaining to, allow me to show you here if you're able to see, that are pertaining to commas and linkers. There are a lot of people, despite having good English, end up making a lot of mistakes on. And that's what today's session is going to be all about. If you're able to hear me and see me, please do show me a big thumbs up. Thank you so very much. Let's just see if you're able to. Thank you. I'm going to look at your comments here. Bear with me. Excellent. Hi, Vicky. Hi, guys. Good to see you all. All right, let's get started. So what is the session all about? In this session, I'm going to show you two very simple rules that you can use, especially when it comes to using discourse markers. First of all, a lot of people do not know what are discourse markers. So in this lesson, we will cover a very simple definition of discourse markers. They're also called linkers. So words that connect one part of the sentence with the other, they link it together. They are called linkers. They're called cohesive devices. They're called discourse markers. So many names. So we're going to be looking at that. There are two simple rules related to it. Where do you put a comma when it comes to discourse markers? That's what the agenda of today's lesson is. So without further ado, let's start. In the next 10 to 15 minutes, you will become super perfect with the correct usage of commas and discourse markers. So let's get started. I have two sentences on the screen. Please have a look at these two sentences and help me understand which one do you think is right. I'll read it here for you. Is it in conclusion, the world population is expanding at an unsustainable rate? Or, in conclusion, the world population is expanding at an unsustainable rate? Both are same. The only difference is I put a comma here, and in the second sentence I've not. So which one do you think it is? Vicky says A. Thank you. What about other people? The correct answer is A. Wonderful. Thank you, Mahiba. Superb. Good. I've got another category here for you. Please have a look. If we look for example, comma, at sport in schools. Second example is if we look, for example, at sport in schools. Just because of comma, the entire meaning of the sentence is changing. Did you notice how I read the first sentence versus how I read the second sentence? The meaning is completely different. So for example, if we look, for example, at sports in schools, it kind of makes me feel that it's a conditional sentence. On the other hand, when I read the second sentence, of course, the second one is right. Thank you, Vicky and Mahiba. It is, if we look, pause, for example, pause, at sport in schools. So what is the rule? What should we keep in mind? What should we not? This is what we're going to be looking at in today's lesson. So let's get started. On the next slide, I'm going to show you rule number 1. I repeat, I'm going to show you rule number 1. Are you ready? Everyone ready? So let's begin. Here we go. Please have a look. So comma with discourse markers. Discourse markers are also called linking words. One more time. We also call them linking words. Let's first understand what the hell is discourse markers after all. So I've written a very simple definition of discourse markers on the screen. The game is very simple. It is jumbled right now. You have to put it in the right order. That's what the game is. So put your fingers on the comments, in the comments box or the live chat. Pause the lesson in case you want to. What do you think is the right definition? Let's see who does it first. Thank you. Hi, Nana. Hello. That help connect ideas. Discourse markers are in speaking or writing. Words or phrases like, however, in conclusion, for example. Thank you. What do you think it is? Come on, you can do this. Everyone. Yes, you can. Okay, Mahiba has given us the answer. Thank you, Mahiba. So Mahiba says discourse markers are words or phrases like however, in conclusion, for example, that helps connect ideas. Mahiba, wonderful. Good job. Can we clap for Mahiba, everyone? Superb. So here we go. Please have a look. Are you able to see? Perfect. Discourse markers are words or phrases like however, in conclusion, for example, that help connect ideas in speaking or writing. Thank you, Vicky. In speaking or writing, you ended the last part, wrote the last part as well. That's great. Itna samajh mein aaya? Everybody understood this part? Discourse markers is nothing but a technical name or more like a fancy name for linkers. So next time when somebody says discourse markers or cohesive devices, don't feel, oh my God, scared. I don't know what that means. It just means linkers. The words like however, because, in conclusion, so, therefore, nonetheless, regardless, despite, in spite of, all of these words are called discourse markers. So this was the basic concept that we wanted to cover. Now I'm going to show you rule number 1. When do we use it? The rule number 1 is we use it at the beginning of a sentence. Very simple. I'm going to show you a few examples. We use it with words like, and it's always, by the way, there's no exception to this rule. There's one special case, like I always tell you. I will tell you about that special case in the next 5 minutes. But this is otherwise the universal rule. In addition, comma, many people face problems. If you are writing in an exam, no matter what exam, of course, it does not apply in spoken English. You can't say, in addition, comma, it would be apparently quite funny. But in writing, if you're writing without comma, the examiner is sure as hell going to deduct your marks on this. So bear that in mind. Thank you, Nana, for your answer as well. Next sentence is, finally. Let's talk about solution. Finally is a connector that's connecting the idea before to the next idea. So we end up saying, comma. We end up writing comma there. And the last sentence is, unfortunately, it's again a connector, comma, I lost my passport. Can you make a sentence using any of these in the live chat right now, please, or in the comment box below? I end up saying comment box. There's no comment box, just comments below. I hope the voice is all right today and you're able to hear properly. Yesterday was a bit of a rigmarole that was going on. Okay, I'm going to be waiting for your sentences. Until then, let me show you the next rule, and it is the last rule. We don't have a lot of rules today. So the first one is, we always use it in the beginning of the sentence. But we also use it in the middle of sentences. But what is that case? Let's have a look at it. We use it in the middle of the sentence as well. So we use comma before and after 3 cases that I'm going to show you. Case number 1, when you're using connectors in the middle of the sentence. So you use it before the connector and you use it after the connector. Connector as in linker or cohesive devices. So one more time, before the cohesive device and after the cohesive device, you end up using a comma. If you understand this, give me a big heart. Hi, Shivanshi. Shivanshi has given us a sentence. Nana has as well. So has Mahiba. Wonderful. Nana's sentence is, finally, I got my result. Guys, make sure that F is capital and you're putting a period in the end of it, a full stop. Mahiba says, firstly, I like to wear sunglasses because they protect my eyes from the sun. Secondly, comma, it is a fashionable accessory. Good. Unfortunately, I lost my purse while I was traveling. Wonderful. Thank you so much for your sentences. So this is the first case. The second case is, there are more jobs in the city, comma, of course, but they pay less. Again, of course is a cohesive device, a linker. Some people end up calling it conjunctions as well. That's fine, but essentially a cohesive device linking the first part with the second part. Some people also call it as, in case you do not know, they also call it as, they call it a clause. In case you have heard, you've seen or you've heard this word before, don't be scared. The meaning is very simple. A clause means a part of the sentence. I mean, the sentence that we are looking at in this case. A part of a sentence. In this case, we're talking about this sentence. So we're using comma in the first clause, for the first clause, and we're using comma after the discourse marker here as well. All right. And the last example is, the weather is very dry, for example, in Africa. What do people do almost all the times? They use, for example. The smart ones end up using comma here, but a lot of people, even the smart ones with good punctuation, do not use comma before, for example. Always use comma before, for example, as well. And that's why we use comma in the middle of the sentence. Now, using any of these three cases, any one, can you make a sentence in the live chat? Thank you. You can use of course, you can use however, you can use for example as well. Thank you. So now you've seen, we use it in the beginning of the sentence. We also use it in the middle of the sentence as well. I'm going to give you guys 20 seconds. Try maybe writing a simple sentence. Okay, we have a sentence. Mahiba says, I enjoying studying for IELTS. Mahiba is using correct English from yesterday. Enjoy studying. Good job. However, it can become tiring. Good. Nana, however is contradictory word. Yes. So it's basically contradicting the first part of the sentence with the second part of the sentence. Of course, whatever you're going to say after that. All right. Excellent. Lovely. Thank you. But there's one exception. I wanted to show you that exception, right? We do not, oh, there's one more example. So just like, for example, we use like as well sometimes. So before like, and then the example that you're referring to with like after that as well. Okay. Now, there's a case we do not use a comma when the adverb describes an adjective. What is the meaning of an adverb describes an adjective? It's very simple. Don't be scared. Adjective means a word that is a quality. Adverb basically means words that end in ly. There can be other words as well, but just for your easy understanding, words that end in ly are called adverbs. So for example, very is also an adjective. So we say she is very beautiful. Beautiful is the adjective and adverb is very here. So in those cases, we end up using comma as well. But how does it really work? Let's have a look at something. Oh, we do not end up using commas. That's what the exception is. So for example, this was a similarly big issue. I'll tell you what the problem is. Sometimes what students think, Krish has said, after cohesive devices, we use comma. So they end up putting comma here because they think similarly is a cohesive device. Yes, the word similarly, it is a cohesive device, but the only problem is, in this context, in this sentence, it is acting as an adverb. See the word ly in the end? So we do not use comma. It's wrong. I repeat, we do not use comma. So we simply say, this was a similarly big issue. It is not connecting an idea. It is basically associated with the word big. If you've understood this, give me a big heart, show me a peace sign, or show me a thumbs up in the live chat. Thank you, Nana. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you. All right, guys, lovely. Similarly, however hard you try. Now, however here does not mean, listen carefully, however here does not mean a cohesive device. However hard you try is not a cohesive device. It is not a linker. Here, it is acting as an adverb. So, however hard you try is a complete first part of the sentence. So, you put a comma here. Otherwise, you do not put a comma with however. So, very, very important. With discourse markers, cohesive devices, use a comma. Otherwise, do not use a comma. All right. We're now going to practice all of this. So let's practice all of this. Here we go. Please have a look. We have a very simple sentence. Inevitably, there's always something you forget. Inevitably is a cohesive device. Is it a linker or is it an adverb in this sentence? Is it linking two parts or is it simply an ly word? What is the correct sentence? Tell me in the live chat, what is the correct sentence, please? Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, Nana, you put a very good answer as well. Wonderful. Thank you. So the correct sentence is inevitably, comma. There's always something you forget because this comma here is acting as a, one more time, this comma here is acting as a punctuation mark for the cohesive device inevitably. All right. Thank you so much, Vicky. Lovely. Now, like always, I'm going to show you 8 sentences. There's a problem in each of these sentences. One by one, we have to correct this mistake. The first one I will do for you. The rest of it you have to do yourself. So keep putting your answers in the live chat, please. All right. So let's get going. Here we go. What happens if, for example, you forget your password? So it says add commas in the sentences below where needed. We already have a lot of commas in the sentence. So what do you think is the correct version? What do you think? We do not need to add any commas here. It is already perfectly there. After if we have a comma, before for example, and after for example we have a comma which is the same as the question. So no changes required. The next one you have to do yourself. So let's start. Here we go. Number 2, to sum up, I'd like to recap the main advantages and disadvantages. You may not require, yes. You may not require any changes at all. So if no changes required, you can simply say no changes. Or you can simply type no changes required, NCR. NCR is fine as well. I'd like to, okay. Thank you, Vicky. Vicky, again, with this one as well, no changes required. But thank you very much. No changes required. Sentence number 3, please have a look. I may be showing you the correct answer, so be careful. It has happened with 2 cases, okay? Number 3, statistics can, however, comma, be misleading. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you, Mahiba. Take 10 seconds, put your answers in the live chat. Are the commas in this sentence correct, correctly placed, or are they incorrectly placed? No changes required. I agree with you, Vicky. Once again, all the 3 sentences are right. No changes required. They're all in the right order. So, have a look. One more time. Whenever you write, for example, you always put comma before it, after it. Whenever you put a discourse marker in the beginning of the sentence, you always put a comma after it. Whenever the cohesive device is in the middle of the sentence, you put a comma before it and after it. So far, so good. Everything is fine. NCR is the answer. No changes required. What about number 4? Have a look. Low-lying countries such as Bangladesh are particularly at risk. For those of you who are from Bangladesh, low-lying countries basically means towards the ocean. Yeah. Nothing against. Thank you, Mahiba. Thank you, Nana. Thank you, Vicky. Once again, lovely. No, you can still type NCR. That's fine. Thank you. If no change is required. Guys, in case you've learned something new, make sure to like. Thank you. Like the lesson. Changes? No changes. No changes. Very good. Again, no changes. It's in the correct order. Same thing is happening here as well. Such as is like, for example, or like the example that you give. Bangladesh is the example that you're giving here. So before this is a comma, after this is a comma. Extremely important. And it's very, very common. A lot of people may think, is it even necessary? I will learn it automatically. It's not even required. No practice is required for this. But when you end up making the mistake and you lose mark for it, in the feedback, when students do receive the feedback, it's very common that your punctuations are really weak. There's a world beyond a basic comma or a basic full stop. And you've ought to learn it properly. So that's important. Okay? Alrighty, next one. Number 5. Have a look. Furthermore, not everyone will be able to afford to install new telephones. Is it all right, or is it NCR, or is there any change that is required here? What do you feel? Again, once again, the sentence is correct. No changes required. NCR. Sentence number 6. Contact sports like rugby will inevitably involve more injuries. Remember, we'd spoken about contact sports before. What do you think is this one? For this one, no change? Are you sure? Everyone? Sure, no change with this one? Number 6. Change, of course. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you. So it is contact sports, comma, like rugby. This is what we did, isn't it? So before like we need a comma. After the example that we are giving, we need a comma. Yeah? Missing a point here. Hello. 2 commas are required. Thank you, Mahiba. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you, Nana. Lovely. Excellent. Okay. What were you thinking? That I'm going to show you all the sentences correctly? Hello? Sometimes we have correct answers and sometimes we're playing a game. So here we go. Be attentive. Number 7. A similarly priced house in the city center would only have 1 bedroom. What do you think? What do you think? No change required. That's what I've written as well. No change is needed. This sentence does not need any comma whatsoever. Because here, similarly, is not a cohesive device. It is a, say it. It is an adverb. Yeah, it is not a cohesive device here. All right, very good. And the last sentence is on the screen. Here we go. We will, of course, reimburse any travel expenses. No, Nana. Thank you, but no changes required. NCR is reminding you of Delhi NCR. Okay. With sentence 8, no changes required. We will, of course, reimburse. So, of course, is a connector in the middle of the sentence. So, we use a comma before it and we use a comma. Oopsie. We use a comma after it as well. All right. Thank you. And that's all. Using comma and cohesive devices are like hand in glove. They always go together. If you're using a cohesive device, this is what we learn in today's lesson. If you're using a cohesive device, you always have to use a comma with it. Commas and cohesive devices go hand in hand. It doesn't matter if you're using it in the beginning of the sentence or the middle of the sentence. But some cohesive devices may seem like some words may seem like cohesive devices, but they are not. What are they? They're not cohesive devices. They are adverbs. So they end in ly, they look like however, but they're not connectors. They are other parts of speech. We do not use comma with them. All right, lovely. Thank you. Can you quickly tell me on this note, what did you learn in today's lesson? Vicky says you showed all the correct answers except one which was incorrect. Yes, of course, we have to be. And see, so many of you ended up saying that, no, this is right, this is incorrect, right? So we've got to make sure that sometimes there can be correct answers as well. We have to be critical, we have to be active. So that's important. So what did you learn in today's lesson? Can you tell me in the live chat, please? Thank you. As always, the extra practice of this lesson is going to be available on the WhatsApp channel. So make sure to join the WhatsApp channel in case you're not connected yet. Major announcements are coming very, very soon. Today is Wednesday. Tomorrow, we're going to continue until this Saturday. We're continuing with IELTS common mistakes. And then on Sunday, of course, we'll ask you what session you'd like, your preference. And then on Monday, we're going to get back to spoken English, advanced spoken English lessons. And I'm sure it's going to be very, very beneficial for all of us. Okay. Mahiba says, I learned today that we use commas always in the beginning of the sentence with cohesive devices, except when adverbs describe adjectives. This is something I always make mistakes in. I will watch it again to understand more. Wonderful, Mahiba. Vicky says, I learned when not to unnecessarily use commas, which I ended up doing plethora of times in exams. I will remember these 3 thumb rules for now. See, so interesting, right? We joined together at 9 p.m. IST. We learned something new, something important. So nice. We spent the last 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 35 minutes with shebang, learned something new. And that's what the motto of our lesson is. A major announcement that I wanted to tell you. The memberships are live, are active on Cambridge Veritas. That is, the members of the channel get the opportunity to personally interact on live streams. They get personal PDFs at a fraction of the cost, so you do not have to join very, very expensive courses and spend thousands of rupees on them. Depending on your interest, you can join 3 different levels. We're also making a very simple video on what are those 3 different levels for you to know. But essentially, the link of it is going to be available in the description below. So do join, become a member of the Cambridge Veritas. There are a lot of benefits that you get, extra PDFs, live sessions, which are members only, where we cover small mini masterclasses and workshops, and a lot more things, which of course I'll let you know in more detail as we make this video that I'm finalizing for you. But I'm so excited to share this news. You can now be a member of Cambridge Veritas YouTube family officially. All right. Thank you. Vicky says, okay, she's mentioned it. Mahiba says, I honestly am glad I found this channel very helpful. Thank you. You're welcome, Mahiba. We're very happy to know that. On this note, that's all that we have for today. I hope you learned something new, and God bless. Take care. Good night. I will see you guys tomorrow, okay? And by the way, please be active. Let me know if there's anything particular that you want to know for the IELTS exam. You can always let me know in the comments box, or if you become a member, you will get to join a Discord channel for Cambridge Veritas, where you can personally interact with me. It's not going to be through comments. It's going to be a direct chat. The whole Cambridge Veritas family is going to be there as well. And of course, other members of the channel as well. So always let me know in case, because I always prepare these lessons for you in the morning. These PPTs and what you see here, sometimes it takes 2 hours, 3 hours to make. So the idea here is that if I'm spending that much time, I'd rather make something that you are more interested in. So make sure to let me know. Okay? Thank you. Loads of love. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.